Welcome to Buddhaman's Musician's Corner. On today's show from Ohio, we have musician Dave Freedy.
That's me.
It's you. His latest release is called Freedy Recording Project number 13, and we're going to talk to him right now.
Hey, Alan, what's happening?
Hi, Dave.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing today?
Well, not too bad. Having a nutritious meal of bagels and black coffee for dinner.
Oh yeah, I had a similar thing. I had a Coca-Cola and a half a piece of toast. So we're.
Are you training for the Olympics? What's going on?
I'm training for the Olympics of talking.
Okay, excellent.
So I read. Are you a doctor by trade?
Well, I'm the doctor is actually in music and tuba performance. I do orchestral stuff. I did a number of degrees out at University of Cincinnati, and then did my doctorate here at Ohio State. And classical stuff. I've been playing with Kentucky Symphony Orchestra as their principal tuba player for I think it's beginning of my 24th season now. And
wow.
Ohio Capitol Winds, I play tuba with them as well, and various and other sundry groups, but those are the two main ones right now.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I grew up. My teacher was the first chair bassoonist for the Chicago Symphony Orchestra.
Wow, that is a serious orchestra. That's
yeah,
a
man.
big orchestra.
This was back in the '60s, and his daughter, you probably know who she is, Michelle Zukovsky. She was the first clarinetist, first chair for the Los Angeles Philharmonic. She just retired. She was like 35 or 40 years. But he was my teacher. He taught me clarinet, and I love classical music. And I like music too. And I was looking at all the covers of your albums, and all the pinup girls from the '40s, right? All these.
Yes, indeed. It's all from the artist Gil Elfgren.
Yeah.
And he was kind of overshadowed a bit by Petty, with the Petty girl as well as Vargas. Those were kind of the two, the sweet girl next door, and then the one that was a little saucier and a little more urbane. And I guess his work got revisited when he died an untimely death, and I think in his early 50s. And I guess it gave folks a chance to take a second look at his output and say, "Wow, this guy's really good," and I agree.
He is. I mean, you have all those albums, and I was listening, and they're all quite different. I like this one that I was listening to, the number 13.
Okay.
Do you do all the instrumentation on all the tracks?
No, I'm just doing the guitar stuff. We typically record the rhythm section live. So it's me on guitar, and then we got Molly Paukin on bass and Sammy Hoff playing drums. And then we'll overdub the vocals and overdub the solos later. Typically, we'll do overdub the solos next, because then that kind of pins in the vocalist, so then they'll where to sing and where to write the lyrics.
Yeah.
They get carried away occasionally. They got a lot to say, so we don't want to give them too much room.
No.
I love you guys. Sorry, they'll be listening.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: going from like a brass instrument to a guitar, was it hard to do? Going from that, because I never thought going from B flat to C. When I tried flute, was kind of strange. Was it an alien? An alien. That's the name of the song on your album. One of the songs on your album, I think.
Yeah, right.
Alien Cathedral. But
that's the one.
Was there much difference between the two?
Oh, it's totally different. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
One was not an extension of the other. I was kind of, at least from my high school class, kind of like the rock guitar hero, or at least, that was my cool handle. You got the sport guys, and you got the good looking guys, and then you got, a guy that can do something that has some social cachet that's cool, like play an instrument or rock climb or whatever. So that was kind of my thing, but
Yeah.
I got burned out on it. So I was playing tuba in the band, not like seriously or anything, just it was just something to do. And then because I wanted to go into music but was burned out on guitar, I switched to emphasizing tuba, and that's where I got all my fancy degrees. I come from an overachieving family, so it's not a matter of whether or not you're going to get a doctorate, it's what are you going to get a doctorate in.
So you had to do it, and it's a fancy high school. You went to Upper Arlington High School, where it says here you recorded with the band PHREDD.
That's right.
As an anagram of your name.
Oh no, that was just 18-year-old humor where I think we were just kind of puzzling over the name, and the drummer Pete Seckler had said, well, why don't we just call it Fred? And of course I have to take that to the extreme, like, well, why don't we call it Fred, and why don't we misspell it, and then we'll have a mascot on the album cover that's a cow, and that'll be Fred, even though it has udders, but that's all right. And
you had a cow.
Fred short for Fredina or something, I don't know.
Yeah, you know who else had a cow on one of their albums? Is Pink Floyd had Adam Hart Mother, and they had,
okay, there you go.
And they had a cow, and there was no reason for it. Just you had a cow. What the hell? Hey, what the?
Well, you know what? Let's go ahead and start that kind of urban rumor that we were inspired by Pink Floyd, and you have to listen to it backwards to figure out how that all fits.
All of Adam Hart Mother backwards.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think you'd probably drive yourself totally insane listening to that. That's when they attempted to use an entire orchestra. I think.
Oh wow!
Yeah, have you heard?
Bless their hearts, they had to work with a lot of orchestral musicians then, and that's heavy lifting. So
yeah, really heavy. It's not for everyone. Like
no.
Because they went off over here, and that's the way I think that you probably are. Do you like to experiment, your band? You like to experiment with different kinds of sounds and the way things actually are, don't you?
Well, yeah, I certainly can. I'll tell you, it's really, the way we assemble it is I'll write a riff or I'll write a chord progression that I like and I think is compelling, and then basically I disseminate it to the rhythm section players, Molly and Sammy. And God bless them for agreeing to plan the projects. They are so good. I'm not sucking up to them. I'm just saying they are really good. But I basically will just give them free rein and say, well, this is basically what I'm going to do. It's going to be roughly this tempo. It's just me playing to a click track. Make up a bass part or a drum part that you think sounds cool. And then that gives them a chance to really have some investment in it and come up with something that they like, or rather than me kind of breathing down their neck and saying, well, I want this 16th note here and this 8th note there, and that's not so much fun. And that's a more typical kind of studio gig.
Yeah.
But it's really, I just kind of give them free rein, and here's what I'm going to do now: play stuff that supports and interacts with that well. And then, like I said, layer on the solos and the vocals. But in terms of adding in different sounds and things, with the sound effects and animal noises and things, and we have fun with that. That's I'm just laughing because I tussle with Dan Green about that. Bless his heart, over at Amerisound Studios, because he's really an acoustically inspired singer-songwriter type. And, I grew up on Stevie Ray Vaughan and Eddie Van Halen and Rush and that kind of stuff. So we're, and both are cool, but our sensibilities are a little bit different. So I'm like, I want an African elephant. And he would say, why are you going to put that on there? I'm like, oh, Dan, come on, man. It's going to be great. We need an elephant and we need a warthog and we need, like some wind with leaves rustling. And so we kind of, he kind of is bemused about it at this point. Like, well, there goes Dave again. I think.
Well, that's good. That's good because you put in different things, and it's not an expected thing, and it's there, and it makes it quite interesting. What do you find to be the most challenging part of your life in music? Because you've been in it your whole life.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of a two-parter. It's in terms of monetizing what it is you do without having your soul turn black.
Yeah.
That's one.
Yeah.
And then the other would be, honestly, at times, having to deal with other musicians.
I've heard.
They are not easy. And, it's like, that would be, those are kind of equal parts there. And there's certainly some great folks out there and folks that are really collaborative and supportive. Unfortunately, we've kind of, at this point, arrived in the process with all these projects where I've really got a good group of folks, and they just show up leaning forward, real positive. That's not always been the case, and so there've been times when it's been unnecessarily difficult, and just had to make some hard choices that I didn't want to, but needed to. So I'd say that monetizing without having your soul turn black, and being able to navigate personalities and interpersonal challenges.
That's for sure. And I talk to a lot of guys, and who do it themselves. They just have their own thing. They're a one-man band, and it's different. But I always say, maybe you should get out of the basement and find a couple of musicians that can play with you.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
I kind of have it both ways myself, where it's kind of like at least in terms of the musical content, I tend to dictate at least the spine of the tune in terms of what the main riff or what the progression is going to be. But then at the same time, turn them loose. I mean, the folks you're collaborating with. And I learned that from Woody Allen. He said, in his documentary, he was saying, the best thing you can do is get really good actors, give them a decent script to work with, and then stay the hell out of their way.
Well, Alfred Hitchcock did the same thing, and he would be in his car. If something went wrong, they would call the actor to his car, and he just let him. He just said, "This is what you got to do," and then he let him loose on the set. So, I think that if you watch his movies, that's what happens. I want to be able to fit one of your tunes in here.
Okay.
But I want to tell everyone, you're going to tell everyone where they can find the music. Is it on Spotify and iTunes as well, Freddie?
Not yet. No, we have a Bandcamp website. So it's at freedy.bandcamp.com. That's spelled FREEDY .bandcamp.com.
And they will remember that. And if you stay on the line with me, to leave the connections both open, I think I worded that wrong, but it sounded pretty good. I am experimenting with my words, and I do that all the time. Both. I improvise. I just have a conversation, and things just come out. My wife says if I plug the microphone cord into my head, that's what you're hearing.
Wow, amazing.
And that's what happened to Kanye West on stage the other night. He just plugged himself into the board, and that was the end of that. Now he's in a hospital. Poor guy.
Yeah, we're having some interesting outbursts from him, but I think we got him in the right place, which is off to
definitely. Yeah, and who knows what it is? You never know. We'll find out.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I want to play one of the tunes. The album is called Number 13, Freedy Recording Project Number 13, and you'll be able to find this interview a day later on the app, and you can share it anywhere you want. So.
Oh, that's great.
That you'll be number. Let me look what the number's going to be. I've done you're 381 interviews since July.
Okay.
I have traveled the world from the seat of my studio.
Excellent.
Yes.
Hey, maybe play LV360 for him. That's a pretty bitchin' tune.
All right, bitchin'. I love that word, bitchin' and groovy. My two.
Yeah, no, and bitchin' from the heartland. You thought only folks on the coast could say that. No,
and I say groovy to somebody, they say, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Dave.
All right, thanks,
appreciate it, man.
Sure.
Stay on the line, and I'll record the whole thing. And this is Buddhaman's Musicians Corner. Thanks, man.
Yep. See ya.
Like walking through the eye of its door. Never easy, but so close to getting warm. And I 30 seconds remaining. You know it's true. 10 seconds remaining.